Hello everyone. We are discussing about the antihypertensive agents. There is a series of lectures for antihypertensive agents. Previously we have discussed about the two lectures for the antihypertensive agents. Today I am going to discuss lecture 3 from antihypertensive agents. In previous lecture we have discussed about drugs acting on sympathetic system. Right? In first lecture, we have discussed classification of antihypertensive agents. There are main 4 different classes of antihypertensive agents. First one is drugs acting on sympathetic system. Second class is vasodilators. Third class is drugs acting on renin-angiotensin system. And fourth one is diuretics. Right? So, in previous lecture, we started discussing about the drugs acting on sympathetic system. There are again different subclasses for this class, drugs acting on sympathetic system. Right? So, in previous lecture, 4 subclasses from this class have been discussed. Central sympatholytics, adrenergic neuron blockers, ganglion blocking agents and alpha adrenergic blocking agents. Right? In today's lecture, I am going to discuss about remaining subclasses of drugs acting on sympathetic system. Right? Class drugs acting on sympathetic system. They are beta adrenergic blocking agent and beta and alpha adrenergic blocking agent. And another point is synthesis of methyl dopate. Right? Synthesis of methyl dopate, which is given in your syllabus from this class. Now, subclass beta adrenergic blocking agents. Right? These are the drugs that bind to the beta adrenoreceptors. In previous lecture, when we started the drugs acting on sympathetic system, we have seen about the sympathetic system. Again, I am just going to revise the sympathetic system. Right? Sympathetic nervous system, it is a type of autonomic nervous system. Right? And it has 2 types of effect: sympathomimetic and sympatholytic. Right? Sympathomimetic causes the stimulation of sympathetic activity, while sympatholytic causes inhibition or inactivation of the sympathetic activity. Right? Again, there are 2 types of adrenergic receptors by which this sympathetic activity will be produced. Right? By using these receptors, sympathetic activity will be produced. They are alpha receptors and beta receptors. Alpha receptor have again 2 subtypes, alpha 1 and alpha 2, while beta receptors has again 3 subtypes, beta 1, beta 2 and beta 3. Right? Now, there is a neurotransmitter which produces the sympathetic activity by binding with this type of receptors. Right? Adrenergic neurotransmitters bind with adrenergic receptors and produces the sympathetic activity. Right? That's why this sympathetic system also known as the adrenergic system. Right? So, neurotransmitter of the sympathetic system is catecholamines. Different catecholamines act as neurotransmitter. There are, for example, adrenaline, noradrenaline and catecholamine. Right? These neurotransmitters bind with the adrenergic receptor, either alpha or beta, and produces the different sympathetic responses. Right? So, this drug, beta adrenergic blocking agent, bind with the beta adrenoreceptor. Right? Beta adrenoreceptor, and they block the binding of norepinephrine and epinephrine to these receptors. Right? There are a binding site available for the neurotransmitter to bind with the receptor. Right? On the receptor, binding site for the neurotransmitters are available. On that specific binding site, neurotransmitter will bind to the receptor and produces the pharmacological responses, right? So here our drug bind to the binding site of the neurotransmitter on the receptor, right? That's why they block this site, and now catecholamines or neurotransmitter epinephrine, norepinephrine cannot bind with the receptor, right? That's why it will lead to the inhibition of normal sympathetic effects, right? Because neurotransmitter cannot bind with the receptor. If neurotransmitter bind with the receptor, then sympathetic activity will produce, right? Either sympathomimetic effect or sympatholytic effect, right? But here neurotransmitter cannot bind with the receptor. That's why it will not lead to the production of the sympathetic responses, right? So it will lead to the inhibition of normal sympathetic effect, right? That's why these agents are known as the sympatholytic agents, right? Because it inhibits the sympathetic effect or sympathetic activity. That's why they are known as the sympatholytic agents. There are again two subclasses for beta-adrenergic blocking agents are non-selective beta-adrenoreceptor blockers, and second one is cardioselective beta-adrenoreceptor blockers. First one is non-selective beta-adrenergic blockers, right, or beta-adrenergic receptor blockers. They are known as the first generation beta blockers, right? During discovery, first class of the beta blockers found was that non-selective beta-adrenergic blockers. That's why they are known as the first generation beta-adrenoreceptor blockers, right? As name indicate, non-selective, they block the both beta-1 and beta-2 adrenoreceptors, right? Out of different beta receptor, beta-1, beta-2 and beta-3, beta-1 and beta-2 are present in the smooth muscles of cardiovascular system, right? So this drug block the both beta-1 and beta-2 adrenergic receptors, right? As they block the both receptor, that's why they produces the adverse effect, and its adverse effects are very common and more, right? Because the drugs are more lipophilic, right? Due to presence of bulky structure. In non-selective beta blockers, when structure we have seen in the classification, right? There is a presence of bulky group. That's why lipophilicity of the drug increases, right? And that's why they more bind to the beta-1 receptor, right? Beta-2 receptor more bind with the beta-2 receptors and produces the different side effects. Examples are propranolol, timolol and sotalol, right? Next one is cardioselective beta-adrenoreceptor blockers. These drugs are known as the second generation beta blockers, and these are more cardio-selective, right? They more cardio-selective and selective towards the beta-1 receptor, right? Here, beta-1 receptor are located in the myocardial muscles, right? Myocardial muscles richly supplied with beta-1 adrenoreceptor. That means heart muscle, myocardial muscles, that means smooth muscles present in the heart, right? So heart muscles are richly supplied with the beta-1 adrenoreceptors, right? And these drugs are more prone to bind with the beta-1 adrenoreceptors, right? That's why it has the more effect on the myocardial muscles, right? And that's why they will not produce the side effects related to the beta-2 adrenoreceptor stimulation, right? In non-selective, what happens? It stimulates the both receptor beta-1 and beta-2, right? Block the both receptor beta-1 and beta-2, right? That's why pharmacological response due to beta 1 and beta 2 receptors both are produced, and some effects are act as side effects or adverse effects, right? That will not be required. Here only beta 1 receptor related effect will produce. That's why beta 2 related effects are nullified, and side effects due to this receptor will be not produced with this selective cardio beta blocker, beta adrenoreceptor blockers, right? These drugs are more hydrophilic than non-selective beta blockers, right? These drugs are more hydrophilic as compared to non-selective beta blockers. As we seen in non-selective, they are the lipophilic, right? And here this one is the more hydrophilic, right? All these cardioselective compounds are more hydrophilic than the propranolol, that is the non-selective beta blockers, right? And that's why their cardioselectivity can be attributed to fact that beta 1 adrenoreceptors are hydrophilic, right? While beta 2 adrenoreceptors are lipophilic. It means that as lipophilicity of the beta blockers increases, then its selectivity towards the beta 2 receptors will increases, right? As lipophilicity of the drug decreases and hydrophilicity of the beta blocker increases, then its selectivity towards beta 1 receptor increases, right? Here our topic of interest or target receptor is beta 1 receptor. That's why hydrophilicity of the drug increases, right, by the different substitution in non-selective drugs, right, and make the molecule more beta 1 selective, right. Examples are atenolol and metoprolol. Now, mechanism of action. Non-selective beta blockers. As we know that non-selective beta blockers bind with both beta 1 and beta 2 receptors, block beta 1 and beta 2 adrenoreceptors, and produces the different effect related to myocardial muscles, heart muscles, that is decreases myocardial contraction, that is decreases force of contraction, and that is known as the negative inotropic effect, right? Decreasing myocardial contraction or contractility or decreasing force of contraction, that is known as the negative inotropic effect, right? Decreases heart rate, decreases cardiac output, and ultimately help to reduce the blood pressure, right? Help to reduce elevated blood pressure, right? See here, effect due to blockage of beta 1 and beta 2 produces, that is related to heart, because myocardial muscles are richly supplied with the beta receptors, right, rather than alpha, right, or these receptors are mostly present in myocardial muscles rather than blood vessels, right. So it does not produce the vasodilation directly, right, or does not decreases the peripheral resistance directly. It produces the effect on the heart only, right. The myocardial contractility is the decreased contraction of the myocardial muscles that is present in heart, decreases heart rate. It is also related to heart, and decreases cardiac output, that is also related to the heart, right. So when studying beta blockers, keep in mind that it produces the effect on heart rather than blood vessels, right. Keep in minor difference between alpha blockers and beta blockers, that alpha blockers majorly affect the blood vessels and somewhat heart, but beta blockers majorly affect the heart muscles, and that's why activity related to heart like myocardial contraction, heart rate, and cardiac output, right? Now, selective beta 1 blockers again block the selectively beta 1 adrenoreceptors only, and it also produces the effect related to heart muscles, that is decrease in myocardial contraction, decrease in heart rate, and decreases cardiac output, So it all ultimately help to reduce the elevated blood pressure. Now, therapeutic uses of the beta blockers. They are generally useful in the management of hypertension that is associated with mental disorders and stress due to high level of catecholamines. Right? As we see etiology of the hypertension, right? We see in that there is a emotional condition or stress produces the excessive outflow of the sympathetic system, right? So when in stress condition or any mental disorders or in emotional condition, increases the sympathetic outflow, that will increases the high level of the catecholamine, right? And it will lead to the hypertension, right? So hypertension due to this type of etiology when occur, then beta blockers can be used for the management, right? In management of hypertension associated with an increase in blood volume and cardiac output, right? Then in management of hypertension due to renin-angiotensin system, right? When renin-angiotensin system get activated or overactivated, then hypertension will occur, right? So in this type of condition also beta blockers can be used to manage the condition of hypertension. Then adverse effects. The adverse effects generally seen with the first generation lipophilic drug. The first generation lipophilic drug, that means non-selective beta blockers, right? These adverse effects are due to the non-selective beta blockers, and they are more common. For example, cardiac depression, dizziness, cardiac depression, that means adversely affect the heart and decreases the heart rate as well as cardiac output below the normal level, right? Below the normal level. When cardiac output and heart rate will decreases below the normal level, then it will produces the cardiac depression, right? Then dizziness, confusion, depression, right? As well as other effects including the sleeping disturbing as well as impotency. Next subclass from drugs acting on sympathetic system is mixed alpha beta adrenergic blockers. This one last subclass from the class drugs acting on sympathetic system, right? These drugs inhibit the both alpha and beta receptors, right? As name indicate, mixed alpha beta adrenergic blocker, that means block the both receptor alpha as well as beta receptors, and these drugs are generally known as the third generation beta blockers, right? Many times it can be considered as a third generation beta blockers, right? These drugs have the vasodilator action, right? These drugs produces the vasodilation also, right? Now, this drug block the alpha adrenoreceptor, and due to blockage of alpha adrenoreceptors, it will produce the vasodilatation, right? Vasodilation occur due to the blockage of alpha adrenoreceptor, because alpha receptor generally are located in the blood vessels, right? So when drug block the alpha receptor, that affect the function of the blood vessels and alter its function and cause the vasodilatation, right? Dilation of the blood vessels, and dilation of blood vessels lead to the decrease in the blood pressure due to decrease in peripheral resistance. Then these drugs also block the beta adrenoreceptors, and blockage of this beta adrenoreceptor cause decrease in force of contraction, heart rate and cardiac output. Force of contraction, that means myocardial contraction, right? So as we seen in beta blockers, that blockage of the beta adrenoreceptor produces the different effect on the heart, right? For example, decrease in force of contraction, decrease in heart rate and decrease in cardiac output, right? Examples are labetalol and carvedilol. See, carbidiol. Here, in structure of carbidiol, one star is denoted at one carbon, and carbon that is denoted with star is the stereo center or chiral carbon, right? It acts as chiral carbon because four attachment with these carbons are different. That's why it is chiral center. And when chiral center arises, it arises the pair of enantiomers, right? And as we know that enantiomers have the different effect in biological system. That's why it is important to study, right? So carbidiol is administered as its racemate. Racemate, that means racemic mixture. Racemic mixture means 50-50% or exact equal amount of the both enantiomer in one mixture, right? Racemic mixture contains the 50% dextro and 50% levo enantiomer in the mixture. That's why it nullifies its optical activity and angle of rotation becomes 0, right? So here its as levo enantiomer is both alpha and non-selective beta blocker, right? Its levo enantiomer acts as non-selective beta blocker as well as alpha blocker, mixed blocker, while its dextro enantiomer with R configuration shows the alpha 1 blocking activity, right? So keep in mind that levo enantiomer with S configuration block the both alpha receptor as well as non-selective beta blocker, act as non-selective beta blocker, while dextro enantiomer with R configuration here, right? Dextro enantiomer with R configuration act as alpha 1 blocker, right? So here it is seen that importance of the stereochemistry or enantiomers. Labetalol. In labetalol, see, two stereo centers are present, right? Here two chiral centers are present. One is here and second one is here. Both are denoted by the star, red star. Okay. So as we know that possible enantiomers or possible stereoisomers can be calculated by formula 2 raised to n. In place of n equal to n is the number of stereo center present in molecule. So here n equal to 2, that's why 2 raised to 2 equal to 4. That means 4 possible diastereomers can be formed, right? And you know difference between enantiomer and diastereomer. Enantiomer have at least one stereo center and diastereomers have at least 2 or more stereo centers, right? So here two stereo centers are present, that's why they are known as the diastereomers. So different 4 diastereomers can be produced, right? And all have the different activity, right? Out of 4 diastereomers, 2 diastereomers are active and 2 are inactive. See, when in both chiral center, in one chiral center there is a methyl group, configuration of methyl group is changed, and in this chiral center configuration of hydroxyl group is changed, right? So when this methyl group have the R configuration and OH group have the R configuration, that means in both chiral center have the R configuration, then these diastereomers are active with minimal alpha 1 blocking activity, and this diastereomer is also known as the delavalol, right? It's named delavalol, right? Then chiral center, methyl group containing chiral center is with the S configuration, and hydroxyl group containing chiral center is in R configuration. Then produced diastereomers is predominantly alpha 1 blocker, right? Predominantly alpha 1 blocker, that means most active diastereomer, right? So these both are the active. Now when methyl group containing chiral center have the S configuration and hydroxyl group containing chiral center have the S configuration, that produces one diastereomers, and another diastereomers When methyl group containing diastereomer chiral center have the R configuration and hydroxyl group containing chiral center have the S configuration, then corresponding diastereomers are inactive. Right? These both diastereomers are inactive. These both are active. Right? Now mechanism of action. Right? As we know that it blocks the both alpha and beta receptor, right? And both produces the different effect and finally lower the blood pressure, right? But when this agent causes the blocking of beta receptor present in the myocardial muscles, then it reduces the force of contraction, heart rate and cardiac output, right? And it helps to lower peripheral resistance and ultimately lower the blood pressure. Next one is, these drugs interact with alpha-1 receptors present in the vascular smooth muscles, right? Vascular smooth muscle, that means in blood vessels, wall of the blood vessels, right? And that will lead to the inhibition of the alpha-1 receptors, right? Interaction of the drug with alpha-1 receptors present in the blood vessel lead to the inhibition of alpha-1 receptors, that will lead to the vasodilation, and that's why decrease in the peripheral resistance, and it will lead to the lowering of blood pressure, right? So ultimately combined effect of the alpha-beta, mixed alpha-beta blockers is lowering of the blood pressure to the normal level. Another advantage of the mixed alpha-beta adrenergic blockers are that the mixed alpha-beta receptor blocking properties in the same molecule confer some advantages in the lowering of BP. Vasodilation by alpha-1 blockage, lower peripheral vascular resistance to maintain cardiac output. Right? Sometimes what happens with beta blockers, there is an excessive effect of the beta blockers cause the cardiac depression, right? Due to decreasing the cardiac output below to the normal level, right? Normal level, then it causes the cardiac depression, right? So this drug maintain this cardiac output, and there is a less chances of the bradycardia. Bradycardia, that means decreases the heart rate and cardiac output and blood pressure, right? So it then the normal level. Bradycardia, that means decreasing heart rate and cardiac output, then the normal level. This condition is known as the bradycardia, right? So it helps to prevent the bradycardia more effectively as compared to the beta blockers. Then it is used in management of mild to moderate hypertension, in renal hypertension also, right? Carvedilol specifically is also effective in ischemic heart disease. Right? Next one is synthesis of methyl dopate. In your syllabus, synthesis of methyl dopate is given. So here we discuss about the synthesis of methyl dopate. Scene structure: 3-hydroxy-4-methoxyphenyl acetone is taken as a precursor. Right? C structure here, CH2COCH3, it is the acetone. When acetone is CH3COCH3. In acetone, from CH3 group, one hydrogen is replaced with this whole substituent. Right? So here basic structure taken, that is acetone. Right? Now on acetone, this group present is a substituent, right? So here to the carbon, phenyl ring is directly attached. Then so before the acetone, phenyl is written. Now again on phenyl ring, two substituents are present, right? Now given the position to this substituent, from considering one carbon from this carbon which is directly attached to the acetone molecule, right? Consider first carbon which is directly attached to the acetone molecule. So here first, second and third. So on third carbon, hydroxy group is present. and on fourth carbon methoxy group is present, right? So 3-hydroxy 4-methoxyphenyl acetone, right? So when this molecule react with ammonium chloride and potassium cyanide, it will produce this tetrahedral product, and this is due to the nucleophilic addition reaction to this carbonyl group, CO group, right? Nucleophilic addition reaction to this CO carbonyl group. What happens when nucleophilic addition reaction occurs? CO pi bond is broken down and electron move on the oxygen atom. So oxygen acquire the negative charge and carbon acquire the positive charge. Now on positively charged carbon, Cn minus, right? Cn minus cyanide group is attached, and to the oxygen potassium is attached, that is potassium derivative, right? Potassium oxide. Now when on this potassium alkoxide group ammonium chloride is added, then OK minus, right, that is oxy potassium minus is replaced with the NH2 minus, right, and produces tetrahedral product. Now it has the chiral center, this carbon is chiral carbon, right, and it produces the mixture of enantiomer, right. So one L isomer is isolated by using the camphor sulfonic acid, right. Camphor sulfonic acid is used to isolate the L isomer from the racemic mixture of this intermediate, right. Now when L isomer of this intermediate is reacted with the hydrochloric acid, it produces the methyl dopa, right. It is one type of sympatholytic drug, right. It is also directly acting sympatholytic drug, right. Now this methyl dopa is react with ethanol in presence of sulfuric acid, right, and cause the esterification of this carboxylic acid group. This carboxylic acid group react with ethanol alcohol to form the corresponding ester, right, in presence of acid, and produces the methyl dopate, right. So methyl dopate is nothing but the ethyl ester of methyl dopa, right. Thank you.